Hunter x Hunter might be the best shonen out there, and you're missing out. But are you really? Could the story of a boy looking for his dad, accompanied by his ex-assassin best friend, the last remaining member of a clan murdered in cold blood, as well as the world's best mogger really be so good? Well, yes. But wait, what about it makes it so peak? What makes it so good? Well, in this short video, I'll put my script writing to a test and do my best to explain why you should watch Hunter x Hunter. Now, of course, to start, we need more context than that. What is Hunter x Hunter? Hunter x Hunter is the story of a young boy named Gon. Gon is pure at heart, just like most shonen protagonists. He may be a little slow-witted, but he's a genius when it comes to his fighting instincts. Gon is one of those people who's everyone's friend, and he would never hold a grudge. Gon lives in a world of, surprise, surprise, hunters. These hunters are a small group of only the strongest, smartest, well, maybe just in a fighting sense, and most persistent people who are able to pass a rigorous, and sometimes even deadly, multi-leveled hunter exam. These hunters are rewarded with hunter licenses, special hunter-only privileges, and the opportunity for fame and fortune with their newly found respect amongst the masses. For as many new hunters who use this for good, there are just as many with more nefarious and self-satisfying goals. And of course, Gon has goals of his own. You see, Gon had originally been told that both of his parents died in a freak accident, only later though to find out that his dad Jing was alive and well, living carefree as a hunter. Well, Gon wanted to know for himself, what's so great about the life of a hunter? Is it really worth abandoning your family and only son for? Well, there was only one way to really know, and that was to ask his father face to face. There was one problem, however. Gon had no idea where in the world his father was. From hunter exams to massive cities to video game worlds to even unexplored continents, the story of Hunter x Hunter follows Gon on his journey to track down his missing father. Now, of course, Gon didn't make this journey alone. As I said before, he made many friends along the way, the most notable of these being Killua. If you don't recognize Killua or his name, I'd honestly be pretty surprised. He could win countless copyright lawsuits with how often his name, image, and likeness has been used across the internet. Gon and Killua bond quickly, as they are quite literally boys amongst men. Unlike Gon's carefree upbringing on his island with his aunt Mito, Killua was thrown into the fire at a very young age. Raised in the world's most notorious family of assassins, yes, an actual family, Killua was already trained as an assassin by the time he was 3. That, amongst many, many other things, left no time in Killua's life for friends, making Gon his first real one. Even when Killua runs away out of fear that he may hurt Gon due to his assassination-filled past, Gon goes out of his way to find Killua, and even confronts Killua's family in order to help. As a character, Killua has two sides. To his enemies, he is a stone-cold killer who will show no mercy to protect himself and those he cares about. But to his friends, he is a kind, compassionate, and caring person. Deep down, however, Killua is a kid. He likes to play with his friends, he likes to explore, and he loves to adventure. He likes to have fun, as does Gon, making Killua the perfect companion. Next is Kurapika. Kurapika is the last remaining member of the scarlet-eyed Kurta clan. The clan's eyes were said to be one of the 7 most beautiful colors in the world, fetching them a high bounty on the black market, and in turn placing that bounty on the back of the Kurta. After his clan is murdered, Kurapika makes it his mission to avenge the death of his fallen family. Despite this, however, Kurapika is a kind, sweet-hearted character. Kurapika is always there to lend a helping hand to those in need, not just those he calls a friend. He helps Gon bring back Killua, despite Killua not even knowing Kurapika's name. On the other hand, Kurapika is obsessed with his goal, hindering his ability to live his life, in more ways than just one. Despite his strong sense of justice, Kurapika's friends don't want to see him fall down a path of rage and revenge-filled murder. Leorio. Leorio is the most simple of the main heroes, and I mean that in the best way possible. Leorio puts on an act. He acts as if he's only concerned about fame and fortune, but deep down, Leorio cares about people. His true goal is to be a doctor. Leorio wants to save people. He wants to help those that aren't able to afford to get help and avoid the circumstances that led to loss in his own life. Leorio is truly the most selfless character in my eyes out of the main Hunter x Hunter group. Naturally, with stories about heroes comes those who stand in their way, the villains. This is a character category in which Hunter x Hunter thrives in. The plot doesn't simply revolve around Party A versus Party B. There are usually multiple forces at work, all with their own goals and objectives. This is one of my personal favorite parts of Hunter x Hunter. Let's look at the York New City arc, for example. First you have Party A, the mob, those who are putting on the auction, versus Party B, the spiders, those who want to steal from the auction, versus Party C, Gon and Killua, who have a certain item they want to win from the auction, which is put into jeopardy by the lurking threat of Party B interrupting the auction, which then in turn leads to Parties A and C putting threat on Party B's plan, all while Party D, Hisoka, works with Party B, putting Party A and C at risk, but then also working with Party C to give info about Party B because he doesn't really care about the auction and... you get the point. The many overconnecting parties and objectives and possible outcomes are written very well and lead to a strong story. Now on a more individual level, who are these villains? What are these groups? Who are the spiders? Well, Expert transitional paragraph aside, we'll start with the Phantom Troop. Again, also known as the Spiders. This is essentially Hunter x Hunter's version of the Akatsuki from Naruto, which is a great compliment in my eyes. The Spiders are made up of powerful individual fighters that come together and form a deadly team. The main goal of these Spiders is simply to cause mayhem. Despite occasional bickering amongst the members, they know how to work together as a team, and when push comes to shove, show how seamless their abilities can be used together. One of the scariest parts about the Spiders is their philosophies. First off, the main way to join the Spiders is to kill one of the current members. On top of that, if a member is killed, they're just replaced. This is how they keep the Spider alive and thriving. If a leg is cut off, it will grow back stronger. No part is more important than the whole, including the head. This isn't to say the Spiders are heartless at all times, but that's something for you to find out by watching. Hisoka. Now where do I start with this guy? Like Killua, Hisoka is pretty well known outside of just the Hunter x Hunter fandom. Hisoka, however, more specifically in memes. And if you've seen those memes, you know Hisoka is a freak, and in every sense of the word. Now contrary to his portrayal in said memes, and scenes from the show, Hisoka is actually not a freak for, younger people? Hisoka is a freak for battle. Hisoka wants to fight the strongest opponents available to him, and to test his own ability against them in said battle. Hisoka is like Goku on crack. Goku loves to fight strong opponents. It's in his Saiyan DNA. However, his top priority is protecting Earth and his loved ones. Whereas yes, he might have spared the man who murdered his friends, and attempted to spare a galactic emperor that killed the last other remaining full blood of Goku's race right in front of him, and gave a senzu bean to a bug android amalgamation of a creature that then turned around and beat the shit out of Goku's son right in front of him. But Goku protects his family. Oh my god, maybe he is like Hisoka. Alright, back to Hisoka. Hisoka's decisions are based on this lust, and yes, I mean lust, for battle. Hisoka doesn't have anyone he loves, nobody to protect, no desires for money, no want for fame. Hisoka just wants to fight. He also just plays things smart. He will take actions that set up others for success, such as Gon and Killua, but is actually subliminally setting himself up for said success. Now what do I mean by this? Well, let's look at Hisoka's relationship with Gon and Killua. On an emotional level, Hisoka does not care about either of them. Despite this, there are multiple instances of Hisoka preparing them, protecting them, and even helping them out. Why is that? Well, there's something Hisoka sees in them, that being their potential. Why doesn't Hisoka just kill Gon and Killua when he meets them? I mean, they'd at least put up a little bit of a fight. That is because Hisoka sees, with just some guidance and time to grow, Killua and Gon have the sky-high potential to be great. Hisoka may have to wait, but that just makes his meal all that much sweeter. Now that we're past all the meat and potatoes, I want to touch on some of the more overarching points about Hunter x Hunter. First of those being the length of the show. In my opinion, at 148 episodes, Hunter x Hunter is at a really great length for an anime. Now of course, this is a subjective topic. Different people are going to enjoy different length shows, and also change their own opinions based on their current moods. Sometimes you want to delve into a long series that could take months or even years to finish, and other times a quick 12-episode anime hits the spot. For those who are looking to wine and dine in anime, however, Hunter x Hunter is the perfect length. This is a great meet-in-the-middle episode count for those who want to take their time and enjoy the show, but also those who want to binge. The anime can be completed in as little as a week or two for the real sweats, and could also take over a year for the one episode at a time kind of viewers. Now, parallel to the length of the show, I want to talk about the length of the arcs. Similarly, this section has something for everyone. Hunter x Hunter generally has about 20 episode arcs, which is also a great length for the show. It's the perfect amount of time for the whole life cycle of a story to happen. Events get properly fleshed out, without being stretched out or time being wasted. Even if you somehow find an arc boring, just 20 episodes later our heroes are on to the next big and better thing. The arcs also flow into each other very nicely. Things that happened in previous arcs do a good job at setting up preceding arcs, and it makes sense as to why the characters head down the paths that they do. All this being said, however, there is one arc that I have purposely avoided covering. That being one of the final arcs, the Chimera Ants arc. Also the most controversial arc in Hunter x Hunter. Now, why did I skip this arc? Well, the point of this video is to help you decide if you should watch Hunter x Hunter. If I can't sell you on the opening arcs, you aren't going to be watching the closing ones. And if I did sell you on the opening arcs, then those arcs themselves will sell you on the following arcs. If you've seen 80 episodes, you don't need me to convince you to watch the rest. You're not going to come back to this video after each arc just to hear my opinion on it and to see if you should keep watching. Do I think you should watch it? Of course. But again, not without the 80 episodes that come before it. But wait a minute, I said it was the most controversial? Why is that? Well, remember how I said each Hunter x Hunter arc is about 20 episodes? Well, this arc is an outlier, and a major one at that. This arc is 61 episodes long. Some people also complain about the pacing of this arc. Well, what do I think? Honestly, I loved it. I'm currently rewatching Hunter x Hunter, and I can't wait to get to this arc again. In this arc, there are multiple moving pieces and events that happen at the same time. So despite a lot happening at a time, an episode might only cover a couple real-time minutes, such as the famous staircase scene. That, alongside people being used to 20-episode arcs, is where I believe most of these pacing complaints stem from. I personally had zero issues with the pacing, but hey, I'm a pretty easy-to-please viewer. Now to top off this video, I want to mention some miscellaneous points / random thoughts about Hunter x Hunter that didn't really have a place earlier. 148 episodes isn't a crazy amount. The Hunter x Hunter manga post what has been animated is one of the few mangas I've read, and surprise surprise I've really enjoyed it. In fact, I'm only a few chapters away from being completely caught up. The story is very good and delves into so much more deeper interconnected / convoluted storylines, but in the best way possible. But let me just say, this arc is never getting finished. There's a whole succession arc that happens before the main Dark Continent arc, and then the shit is just not gonna end. There's been so many chapters, and I feel the surface has barely been scratched. There's a whole twist of a new character who's introduced, but then hasn't been used for many chapters because his purpose is for the next arc and not the succession arc, and it's just a lot. Now sadly, the worst mix with the long story, Yoshihiro Togashi, is not in the best health. He's been dealing with severe back pain, which has hindered his ability to work on Hunter x Hunter, and led to multiple hiatuses in the manga production. Now, ramble aside, I want to get onto some rapid fire points. First off, Kurapika's not a girl. This is very obvious to anyone who's seen the show, but for those who haven't, he has long hair and a slender frame, which led people to believe so. Whereas some people just troll to troll, I know there's at least one person out there who learned from this video that Kurapika's not a girl. Now in a similar vein, I want to talk about Kurapika's haircut. In the beginning of the anime, Kurapika's hair was drawn with no volume in the back, giving him almost a circle-looking head. But after that, they either drew it better or he grew it out more, but he has more volume in the back. Whereas it looks a little more feminine, it's a lot better looking haircut, and I'm glad they made the change. Now, I kinda threw that the manga is good and Hunter x Hunter is never-ending points in the same category. So to close, I'm gonna say I like how flexible Togashi is with his cast. Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika are the four main characters. Yet there are a decent amount of arcs where Kurapika and Leorio just aren't included. Now you might think, wait, that sucks, but the tables get turned. In the current manga arc, Kurapika is the main character. Leorio's present, yet Gon and Killua won't even be maybe included until the next arc after this one. Gon has an issue to deal with post Chimera Ant's arc, and that issue is barely touched on, if even at all, in the current arc. And there's no way it's going to get resolved, probably within my lifetime at this rate of chapters. Now, of course, there's a lot more I could say and want to say, but I want to keep this spoiler free. I want you to determine your opinions on the show for yourself. But please, comment down below. What did I miss? Help me spread the word. What are your selling points for Hunter x Hunter that I skipped over? Is it even worth watching? Let me know. And while I'm at it, thank you for watching. I appreciate the support on these videos. Tell me what I should make next. Should I finally make my first negative is it worth watching video? Because trust me, I have some that I can make. And of course, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.